This isn't the video I wanted to be making today. It was supposed to be a special filming video, and instead we're talking about an injured wide receiver. And it's not just any wide receiver, it's first round pick Jalen Reagor, the rookie out of TCU, injured, and he's going to miss around 6 to 8 weeks. In today's video, we're going to be discussing what this means for the offense, where they go from here, and a lot of other factors surrounding this, because obviously it's certainly less than ideal, and at a time where the Eagles offense is struggling as it is, losing their most dynamic playmaker is anything but ideal. So buckle up, strap yourselves in, this is going to be a bit of a bumpy ride. So let's first talk about the loss itself then. Reagor is out for 6 to 8 weeks with a UCL tear, which is a ligament in your old thumb. Now, it's the same injury that Drew Brees has had, and he was around a 5 to 7 week window, I think, last year. The one thing I want to say, though, is that according to a source close to PSN, he will be getting surgery in the next few days. I don't know if that bit's been reported yet, but he will be having surgery on it. So no Desean Jackson level BS, he's getting it sorted. Rhaegar's gone out on Twitter and called it a minor bump in the road. He will be back for the second half of the season, but as someone that was the 4th highest ranked receiver at this point in the season of all the rookies, it's not great, and Rhaegar was beginning to really ramp up his involvement in the offense. He played in more snaps than any other Eagles wide receiver last week, 85%, but only had 4 receptions for 41 yards. That's not great. You can't have someone playing that much and getting that little attention, especially when Wentz is throwing it around 97 times, or at least what it feels like. So the next question then is, how do you negate the loss of Jalen Reagor? And when you look at how they were using him, it was a variety of ways. There were a couple of orbits and motioning him across the line of scrimmage. A very lackluster use of him downfield in week 2. We saw that gorgeous 55-yard reception in week 1, but outside of that, it hasn't really been plain sailing on that front. He's been getting open, he's been creating the separation, but he hasn't been going downfield vertically as much. Now, interestingly, in week 2, the Eagles played a ton of 12 personnel. We're talking 80%, which is great in itself. Also a little bit worrying considering they're refusing to pay Zach Ertz and you're suddenly relying on him and God. That's a different discussion. That's a very different discussion. But the two main receivers out there were Jackson and Rhaegar. So Rhaegar all of a sudden is going to be your primary target, with Desean Jackson sitting at the Z spot, which is what I expect will be normalized. What I do think will happen though is that in place of Rhaegar, you're probably going to see Arcega-Whiteside, someone that's going to be that possession receiver, the jump ball guy. That's probably going to be the avenue they go down, because if we're honest, it's the avenue of most comfort. It's how the offense has looked under Carson Wentz's guidance for so long, with a possession guy, a speed guy, and a twitchy slot receiver. If they want to shake things up, I do think John Hightower is the next logical selection. He has been getting open on the snaps he played. He looked pretty good in week 1 outside of a couple of mistakes. And once he gets those first few catches in open space, I think the confidence will ramp up. I don't think that's going to be a worry anymore. But I understand there's a bit of a concern given that he hardly looked flashy, he hardly looked brilliant on TV tape at the very least in his first few NFL snaps. The way I would do it if I was Doug Peterson would be to start J-Jaw, and a lot of people point towards that interception on Sunday and say J-Jaw this and J-Jaw that, but ultimately it was a bad throw on behalf of Carson Wentz, and as I said on Monday, I don't care who you put there, no one is making that reception. I think you have to trust J-Jaw at this point. He was a former second round selection in his second year. If he cannot step up in a spot like this, if he is not ready to be getting 80% of snaps, it is a waste of a second round pick. This has to be a J-Jaw game. It's against the Bengals defense. I mean, I know they're a bit versatile, they like to move things around, but this is not the most challenging defense they'll face this year. If JJ Arcega-Whiteside cannot outshine William Jackson, who is 6 foot, there is a clear height discrepancy there with J-Jaw being that basketball-esque jump specialist, then I'm worried. This has to be a J-Jaw game, because frankly, if it isn't, more things to be worried about than Jalen Reagor's health, because the depth of that position, the insurance policy for Alshon Jeffrey, the chance of even getting Alshon Jeffrey back, there is so much that comes with that. The Eagles need J-Jaw to step up here. I do think we'll see a little bit more of John Hightower. Kes Watkins is still on IR, so unfortunately it won't be from him, but Deontay Burnett has been protected for the 3rd week in a row. The Eagles can only protect practice squad players 4 weeks a season. So if you sneak him on now and next week, and then all of a sudden you've used all 4 and someone else poaches him, the Eagles have already lost Noah Togiai to the Indianapolis Colts of all people, and he's not even doing that bad. He's actually getting game time. If they lose Deontay Burnett, that will sting. So they may have to move someone around. It could be a player to IR, it could be someone off IR, or a trade or a cut, I don't know. But they're going to have to find a way to keep Burnett around because he's already on week 3 of 4. We've still got 3/4 of the season left and he's already nearly maximised that potential. As far as the offense is going to look without Jalen Reagor, I think it will be very much the same because nothing they've been doing is working. Like Doug Peterson spoke this week about trying to get the run going to establish play action and get Wentz outside the pocket. Well, that didn't work. Like, that wasn't happening. You weren't getting naked looks. You weren't getting him outside the pocket very often. Obviously, on the backflip of that, the Rams did exactly that against them and ripped the Eagles to shreds. That was the difference. Doug Peterson wasn't doing any of that. So, I don't know. I'm not expecting a totally different offense. The loss of Jalen Reagor is a big one, especially considering that he played 85% of snaps in week 2. He's second in the team in receiving yards at the moment. In terms of receivers, obviously behind both tight ends who are leading the way as per. But it hurts a little bit. This is a big loss to take. Now, elsewhere, on a separate note, I do just want to say, Desean Jackson on the season has 8 receptions. He has had more rest days in 2 weeks than he's had receptions. I don't know what's going on there. None of this is injury related. There was a random spur after week 1 where some people were questioning why Desean Jackson was in and out of the game. Was he injured? Was he hurt? Was he ready to go? Apparently he's fine, but he's had about 3 weeks worth of rest days and just isn't practicing, coming up to Sunday and doing all right. So I don't know what's going on there. I feel like something very fishy is happening with Desean Jackson, so keep your eyes peeled on that. Hopefully, guys, this has reassured you a little bit as to what the team will be doing without Jalen Reagor. I don't think there'll be that much of a difference. They're just going to have to lean on JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Again, if they don't, there are much bigger problems than a thumb injury to worry about. Let me know what you think. There is a Carson Wentz film room coming tomorrow, so stay tuned for that one. From myself, Liam Jenkins, I'll see you soon.